you talking to me? You're live. Okay, do I have to hit anything else? No, that looks good. Okay, so then, hi Sandy, looks lovely.
15 bodies already.
Do I? Holy do. Okay, so I got to turn to front, right?
Yeah, there you are.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to my sewing room's Wacky Wednesday. And of course today, if you saw that little intro sign, it is landscaping with Sandy. So I came dressed for the occasion, make sure that we can get this work done, you know, keep everybody on track and whatnot. I have to tell you, it wasn't long ago I had to let my landscaper go though, because, you know, he just wasn't cutting it. Anyways, so lots of landscaping tips and things for us today. And so welcome to my sewing room's Wacky Wednesday. And don't forget that this is going to be recorded and we will be on YouTube as well at our YouTube station, which is mysewingroom.ca, and that's, of course, that's DOT. Anyways, hello to everyone signing in. It's so nice of you to turn on, view us, and it's wonderful. So I have to change glasses because I can't actually read with these. So I need to say a few hellos to all my good buddies that sign in and come online and visit with me or watch us on YouTube or Facebook. And so I'd like to do a bit of a shout out to all our peeps, especially to Rose L and Mum Ann, Sandy A, who I see is signed in again today, Denise B, who we just talked to not long ago and is going to come for one of our Kimberbell classes, and to Carol D. I wonder how your gnome bag turned out, Carol. I know you came in and picked up the fabric and everything. I'm going to show that gnome bag today on how it turned out at the end of the show. And yes, you're right. Send out a greeting to Ann P-L, who says looks like I'm going to do some heavy work today, and you bet I'm going to do some landscaping today. And I do hope you enjoyed your bobbin work class from last week. Also a shout out to Leah W, Teresa S, Ann S, Loanne F, Billy P. Also a shout out to Ian and the gang at Modern Tool, Nicola P, Neil B, Carol G, who I saw not too long ago too. Thanks for tuning in today. Teresa W, Tina B, Glenda and Mike, it's always nice of you to watch. Brenda R, Carol Ann M, who I just spoke to today, and I'm so excited. I hope things work out for you with your embroidery. Gwen MCN, Rita D, who gave me that lovely little statue of Doily, my new little gnome. Shout out to Jean and Maui Jim, of course to Cam and Betty, Mary Zed, Betty and Mark, Fern P, Nancy and Riley, and of course Debbie W. Anyways, so glad you guys can tune in each week and whatnot, and I'm so happy to hear from Carol that she says she's working on her gnome bag as you speak, and it's wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that. All right, so today is landscaping with Sandy, and I want to just mention a line of fabric that's come into the store that's definitely worth mentioning. I think of this because it's done by a lady. She was a mechanical engineer and a retired NASA astronaut, and she went up into the International Space Station, and in May of 2008, it was her first trip to space, and she has spent 180 days in space. Her name, of course, is Karen Lugine Nyberg, and the reason I bring this up is because she when she was up there, she took a lot of photos of the Earth and created a very beautiful line of fabric called Earth Views. We have it here at the store. It's $21.99 plus tax for a meter, and it has just absolutely gorgeous colors. And these are all photos that she has taken from outer space. They're beautiful. And when I talk about landscaping, I don't think there's a better landscaper than perhaps our very own Mother Earth, who through her wind and sun and water and sleet and hail and everything, she creates the most beautiful landscapes ever. And we can go out and capture those. We can live in that nature and make it wonderful. So we can do captures by phone, we can do pictures, and we can create actual landscapes. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. But I just wanted to also say that this lovely lady, Karen Lugene Nyberg, made a stuffed dinosaur in outer space. And as far as we know, it's the first one that was ever made. She made it out of space station scraps. And they take the stuffed animals out into space because when they're entering back into our orbit, they actually have a good zero gravity indicators. They'll float when they enter the orbit, so they know if they're on track. So, but she did a wonderful job. Many beautiful colors, a total line of these, and they would be great for what we're going to do today. All right, so we are going to be doing some landscaping. And yeah, you know, I'm tell the funniest jokes, but what do you call a landscaper's bank account? Why, of course, it's a hedge fund. You know, okay, and you know what? Billy just told me too that she thinks that Karen actually made a quilt in space too. We are big NASA nerds at this house, and we went to Orlando for our honeymoon, and we got to go to Kennedy and Cape Canaveral. You know what? We also went to Cape Canaveral, and we saw one of the shuttles lift off, and it is really cool. But sorry, I sort of sidetrack there for a second. But you're right. So Mother Earth is our best source. So when you're doing landscapes, and this one is it's actually a freestyle applique landscape, and I learned a lot online with a YouTube guy called Man Sewing. Anyways, he gave us some tips. And the very first one is to find an inspirational picture, photo, image, or a pattern. Sort of, kind of as well, what our dear lady did with her fabric. She saw that picture, turned it into a fabric. Oh, Carol G, are you kidding me? She says she's a NASA nerd as well, and she worked at the Stennis space station in Mississippi years ago. That is so cool, Carol. Awesome. Yes, we've got some real space nerds today. All right, so I want to show you my inspiration for what I did. Are you ready? Here's a close-up of mountain views. Of course, what else does Alberta have but some really nice mountain views? And on these pictures you can see, of course, the color is a little weird in that one, so I'm thinking it was either smoky that day or it was hazy. Maybe sunset, you can get that kind of glow. This one's more like our frigid up in the on the alpine side of it, with the really crystal clear water where it reflects everything. But find yourself something that will give you some inspiration and create. So that's what I did. I found something that was inspirational and created. Now our great guy gave us a tip, and he says, you know what, if you're doing a picture that has water in the top and it has water in the bottom, well, start with blue as your background. Because then as you're working on this, you can have your sky, your water, your creeks, everything be in the blue. And then you have to find some fabrics that fit your picture that you would like to incorporate. So for the most part, when I think of mountains, I think of kind of black or gray. Think of rocks as grayish. Think of the alpine meadows or treed lots in green. And of course in Alberta, most of the time our trees have snow on their tops. So that's the first thing I did, was I went and I found some pictures of things I like. I went and found some fabric that I liked, and then I got some more tips from our YouTube video. Okay, so the first thing he told us to do was to make sure that we got some two-sided fusible webbing and put it on all our papers. And that's what I did. So on all of the pieces of the fabric that I'm going to use, I put two-sided fusible. In this case, I used Steam-A-Seam too, but we finally got in something that I like a little bit better. It's the Pellon 805 Wonder Under. So we've managed to get a few more of the 2-yard packages in for Wonder Under fusible web. It's a little lighter. And of course, you don't really need to have to worry about sticking anything down until after you've created it, and then you can take that paper off and iron it. So this works really well. Other things that you're going to need, of course, is a mat. So any kind of a rotary mat, a little Olfa cutter. So mat, Olfa cutter. Let's find it in my bag, in my little things. I have a big one, but I also got a little one. And I found as I was working with this, sometimes I can't get quite into the little holes the way I'd like. I got a little pair of snips that helped me to do some cutting as well. So after I best pressed all of my fabrics, Mary Ellen's Best Press, I pressed all my fabrics so that they're nice and starched and thick. Then I ironed on my Wonder Under, in my case Steam-A-Seam 2. It's a little bit thick, but it should work the distance as well. Then I just got all of my things ready. So a little tip he told us to do when we are making mountains or whatever, he said if you're going to make them with snow, well, then put your white over top of your mountains. So then you will cut through all of this in the shape. You don't have to worry about how it fit together because they're together already. And then once you've got those two cut out, you can adjust them and put them on your blue fabric. So I did that. And I got to tell you, I'm probably not the best artist in the world, but then, so we got to think about the sky, the mountains, snow caps on my mountains. And then I thought, well, you know what, I need to have that valley where it's green and everything. So of course, then I started layering on the greens. And then I thought we need some rocks, but I wanted it so that the rocks were in two places. The rocks were along the edge of the river, and then again at the bottom of the river. So you've got it. I had quite the time cutting these things out, shaping them the way I liked, and then of course I pressed them onto my piece of paper. So a couple of other tips. He says to layer them in order of the background. And I've only got this half done, so I'm only going to show you the half that's done. So he said, so you start with your background fabric, then you put those mountains with the snow peaks on, and then the rock itself. Then you put that foresty looking stuff. Now I didn't get any additional trees in here, and I will put on some extra trees. Then I put a rock layer. Then of course this blue is part of my sky, so it flows across the front, and then put some more rocks at the bottom. So I want to show you close up. So the peaks of my mountains are all with the tops. Kind of did this, but I need to add more. But what I liked was the way he told us to do the rocks in the river. And that's, he said, do a few little cutbacks along there, because it gives the illusion that the water is actually flowing around the rocks. So that was kind of fun. So that was my start at this. And I have to tell you, I am not an artist. I kind of like my things where it's laid out and I sew them nice and neat and everything. So this really stretched my imagination. I still have some work to do on this, but eventually I will have, I want another set of mountains here where they cross with the river coming down as a creek and a stream, and then around through and flowing off over here. So you get what looks like sort of like this picture, right, where you've got the river and it comes kind of flowing down like this. So I've got some more work to do on my picture, but I thought I'd show you a few things that he told us what to do and how to make your landscape really good. So the other things he told us is the darker to light fabric. So the darker in the back gives you depth and perspective, and then bring the lights to the forefront. They say that objects in the background are kind of blurry, make the ones in the front a little more detailed. Position them as you go, and then when you're ready, of course, remove the paper backing and iron it down. He also mentioned that it would be good to make some highlights in here, so pop of color somewhere. So I was thinking, wouldn't it be fun to have a little deer at the stream drinking? So there we give you a little pop of color. Put a little cloud up top, and then you get another little pop of colors. Then, of course, what do? You thread paint. So you get all those lovely embroidery colors that you've got. So I've got a gray. These things aren't very good. Let's try close up. So I've got a gray. I have a blue. I've got black for the mountains, white for the sky and the snow, and some green for the pastures, the meadows. And you can thread paint and add those extra little details as well. So that's my way of doing a freestyle, free motion kind of applique landscape. And now I know there's people out there who have done this and do a much better job than I did, but it was kind of interesting. It really did stretch me because I'm not focused in that direction. I like things very linear, straight, very pretty. You know, this made me work at it a lot. So it was quite fun though. All right, so did I tell you I had to fire my landscaper the other day? Yeah, I think I did. He just wasn't cutting it. So, you know what a landscaper's favorite genre of music is? It's Motown. Get your funky self down, Motown. And what's the funniest landscape? Well, it's hilarious. It's really hilarious. Okay, enough with the jokes, right? Okay, so just if you don't want to do freestyle or, you know, freestyle applique the way I did, where you do your own cutting and whatnot, there are patterns. And of course you can get patterns that make things like our lovely Skyline. And we did this a few years ago. It's the Calgary Skyline by My Sewing Room. And this is all appliqued on, so you can see it. And you cut it out in the landscape, and they've done it using different methods. The first one was wavy fabric, so there's a good one. Or they did it as a quilting block, which was kind of cool too. But this one then is not so much freestyle as it is a true applique. But that was kind of fun. We did that a few years ago, and that's available. The other one that, if everyone remembers, we did not too long ago, it was actually a class. It still is available if you want to try it and do it. But this is true applique landscaping. And what they did for this is you can either trace and cut this out yourself, or we use the big scan and cut, and fed these in and cut them out. Just a note, if you're using the scan and cut, you need to make sure you put that lovely Wonder Under on it. And when you cut it, you do it paper side up, okay? Sorry, I got a little tickle. So that's another way that you can do your landscaping with a nice tool. And it turns out absolutely spectacular cut, and you get a really pretty picture. So that's another way to landscape. So we got Mother Nature making landscapes. We've got our own landscapes based on Mother Nature's designs. We can find patterns and things to do landscaping with. So landscaping is kind of a fun thing. So anyways, I'll continue to work on my picture of my landscape. and I'll get back to you and show you how that turns out. Anyways, now last week we did one, made a bag, the Gnome Bag, and I know that there's a nice lady making her Gnome Bag right now as we speak, dear Carol. So that was based on the catch-all pattern. I got to tell you, this pattern has just become one of my favorite little things. Not only do we make baskets, but you can make bags, as I said last week about this. I got to show you how it turned out. And here it is. There's my little bag. And on one side it says adventure waits, and the other side says find joy. And when you open it up, lo and behold, I was telling you, I put pockets inside. So there's the pockets on the inside of the bag, right there. And then I put one on each side. So that was on the lining before I sewed the two together. And then I made sure I attached my handles to the front part of the bag when I made the quilted block. And then of course I sewed them right sides together, and then right sides, turned it right sides all around, left the opening at the bottom so that I could turn it. I boxed the corners, and there it is, completely done. And it turned out, I think it turned out really cute. Anyways, so that is it. And that was using the panel from the Savor the Gnomets fabric. And I've still got a couple of more that I think that I'm going to build into a cute little pillow for my gnome room. So anyway, so that was a project from last week. I just wanted to show you that I actually got it done, which is kind of fun. All right, so now just have a few announcements, because it's getting up to the end of May, so there's a few things that are happening. On Friday, this Friday, May 20th, it's the last class of the One Stitch at a Time, so hopefully we'll see some really lovely finished projects when they come in this week. Also, the following Friday, we have the Kimberbell a la carte. It's the home decor one at 10 a.m. and the Halloween sweet wraps at 11:45. Each of those classes are $15 plus tax. And don't forget to drop off your USB stick. So give us a call, drop in. We can get you signed up for those two classes. Coming soon, right? June 1st. Kimberbell's Red, White, and Barbecue. And it's got 4 spots left. So if you still want to join us and do that fun event, it's a one-day event. We're making an apron. We're making oven mitts. It should be fun. And I will be there to cheer you on throughout that day for Red, White, and Barbecue, and then Facebook afterwards. So that one's coming up. The other one that's coming up is the Garden Party 2-day event on June 16th and 17th. That's a Thursday and Friday. And you're making 6 different six, if I can count. 6 different projects. That's $249.99 plus tax. It goes June 16th and 17th from 9:30 to 5. Now, that one, if you stop in at the store or look at the Facebook, was it on Facebook? It was Facebook on Monday. I think they did the tour of the store, and that one showed the absolutely beautiful arch that Betty and Julie did on the weekend advertising it. It's just so cute. It's just a beautiful thing, twinkly lights and everything. Couldn't ask for any better display. So get signed up for that Kimberbell Red, White, and Barbecue event. Now, I am away on that Wednesday for Wacky Wednesday. So Wacky Wednesday is moving to Thursday for that week so that I can do the garden party with you and do Wacky Wednesday as well. So, except it's going to be Wacky Wednesday, Thursday. And if that didn't confuse you, then you're really good. All right, so the couple more things. We have, of course, the Cup of Cheer Advent quilt it's the new Christmas one from Kimberbell. Please let us know if you want to get a pre-order on that. We're taking names and numbers and all that sort of stuff, and we'll get it to you as soon as possible. So give us a call on that, and we'll get you pre-ordered. Okay, I got 2 last announcements. Number 6 on my list is the Ferfa pet mat placemat fundraiser. It has 2 weeks to go. End of May is when this is done. So this is the one where you purchase the 2 mats, make them, bring one in. Immediately $10 is donated to the Ferfa group, and when you bring in your placemat, you get a $5 credit on your account, and then they get to sell those little beautiful placemats for extra money for their fundraising. The last one is, you guys, come on, get your felt challenge projects in. I'm sure everybody's got a mug rug out there, or a candle mat, or something fun that they made with the felt projects. I did the mat, they did the dining room table mats for Thanksgiving. So if you have any of those, and send them to social@mysewingroom.ca, which is Kason, and he will make sure that we collect all those up, and then there's always a winning one that gets a bit of a prize. So that's it, everybody. We have gotten through our freestyle landscaping applique, and it was kind of fun doing, and I hope you guys want to take on a new challenge. It is great to do. Anyways, that's everything from here at Sandy and Landscaping Land, and we will hope that you have a wonderful week, even if they're saying that there might be some frost on the ground for a long weekend, or snow. Of course, it's May long weekend. What do you expect? Everyone's camping. It's going to rain, and maybe it'll clear up for the rest of the weekend, but hang in there, everybody. Spring is almost over. Summer's coming, and we might get some warm weather. Anyways, take care. Have a great week, and I will be back next week with my ever good partner, Shirley Fern. So we've got everybody confused with who Shirley Fern is, but Shirley Lock Holmes is our Fern, and we will be back next week for another little mystery. Time release rain, yes. You're right, Billy. It always is the timing thing. All right, everybody, have a great week, and I will see you